Episode 112.
Man, the happiest we've been in a long time.
Welcome back into the pod. A lot going on in the NYCFC world. Both games that we have to talk about. And then one of the biggest club legends taking off in not blockbuster fashion, but just completely out of the blue. Yeah, literally.
In the middle of the night.
And unfortunately, we don't get the send-off that I think a lot of fans probably would have wanted.
Tonight would have been the perfect send-off.
Yeah. Something like Tati had. And to be honest with you, I don't think a lot of our big players have gotten something like that.
Well, I think
everybody else was off-season.
Yeah, nobody really has had a farewell game I can remember, at least.
I think it'd be disrespectful not for us to probably spend some time talking about Chanot. There was a lot of speculation flying around, even some speculation on our end that we believe to be true.
Sadly, nobody really knows.
Mm-hmm.
What has come out now could completely just be PR spin, and Chanot respects the club enough to at least respect their wishes in that regard. But at the end of the day, we don't know. We don't know if he was pushed out by Cushing and the coaching staff. We don't know if it truly was him wanting to go back to France and play in front of his family to retire. I thought he would retire in the NYCFC shirt. That's just how I viewed it. And if he wanted his family to come see him play, that he would do that by any means necessary for his last season. But yeah, I mean, it stings. It sucks.
And he basically said that in different words, in 100 different ways throughout his time here, that he would like to retire here.
Right.
And it's kind of shown in the way that he's gotten his coaching license and everything, that it always felt like there was a future beyond him being a player. And I think a lot of people were potentially thinking that he hinted at that too. He posted on Twitter his little coaching license, but he's since deleted it. So that kind of gives me
you kind of plugged it
different
up
idea. Yeah, but that kind of gives me a different idea of what he might have meant by it. Some people were thinking it was like a little subtweet at Cushing, if you're going that route, that there was some kind of falling out that was like, hey, buddy, look, like I have a coaching license too.
Oh, okay.
And I know this is BS or whatever.
Right. That's reaching, I think.
But yeah, to me, I didn't think that could have even been the case until I saw he deleted it, because I don't know why you delete it.
Well, I think you may delete it if it's being misunderstood.
Mm-hmm. But we have some tweet deleters on our team.
Oh,
like
for sure.
Keaton complaining about referees, rightfully so, every time.
Yeah, you don't want to catch a fine.
But yeah.
I got to delete this by 12 o'clock or I'm catching a fine.
Before the refs wake up in the morning. Or the accountants.
Yeah.
But yeah, typically a pretty soft-spoken man. So until he deleted it, I did not think that was a possibility. And in general, I guess I couldn't imagine if there was any kind of falling out that it would have been like a big blowout situation, like an argument or something. What it probably came down to in my eyes is Chanot, in a way, has slowly been phased out of the lineup, and then bringing in Burke, it's kind of like the young kid that's coming in to replace you, even though there's not adjacencies there like at all. I don't know if he viewed it that way, or I guess Thiago got healthy and somehow took his spot, even though he's been better than Thiago and Tavon and anybody that has stepped in at center back.
I think it could have just been the perfect storm of events where Chanot is trying to lead the way that Chanot leads, and he wants the team to go in a direction where they're winning, but in a direction where he can lead and be the type of leader that he is, which is a very vocal leader. He's not afraid to yell at you on the field, and he doesn't care if you flip him off in the middle of a game.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if you're trying to fight him in training. Like, he's going to lead the way he leads. I could see it being a case where he's just trying to do that, and maybe he's being told by other coaching staff to chill out and let people develop and things like that, and you mix that with him having a legitimate chance to go play in front of his family, and those things happening at the same time, and him just being like, look, this project here isn't worth not playing in front of my family for the remainder of this season.
Yeah, it's a multiple factors.
Yeah,
I think
it's not just one. I think anyone who's just going, well, Cushing just told him to leave and he left, that's naive in my opinion.
And on top of that, I don't think that something like this rules out him coming back in a coaching capacity,
or even in the Maxi way, where he goes and plays in his home country and realizes maybe not all he wanted, and he comes back to retire in our shirt.
Yeah, and he loves New York.
He's got it tatted on him.
Number of times. There's multiple skylines on him. Not to mention him lifting the trophy. I think there's a crest involved there too. Like he said, his heart is blue or light blue, and every supporter should know that. So the most respect and best wishes to Chanot.
Right.
I don't know how. Maybe we'll have to. I don't know how we're gonna catch a game with Ligue 2. I don't know how you even watch those things.
Well,
but
that machine out there has got it.
Yeah, that's true.
You got it.
Yeah. So
you just have to know when it's on.
Yeah. So T's and P's to Chanot.
Yeah.
We
It's a
welcome
piece
you
to us.
back. Yeah, and although I will say we got our win today, we're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs,
Oh, I
but
think we're still.
it's close.
I think in the mind, we know that it's probably not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But in the heart can't help but want that blindly believing in something that may not become true. That's what the heart does.
Well, you even called it out before the game tonight that you thought we were going to stomp them.
Yeah.
And through the first half, that's basically what happened.
First half until Nick decided to probably
Yank the plug.
we think he decided to pull the plug on the game.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if I'm in that position, maybe I do that too. And
It's a dangerous game to play.
It is a dangerous game, especially when you're Nick Cushing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot going into this game. There was a lot of pressure on the team. There's a lot of people who thought last game should have been Nick Cushing's last game.
They've been thinking that for months, though.
Yeah, yeah. And there's been people saying that behind the scenes that was the case. But I think the team felt that pressure. I think, if anything, this was really the team responding to a lot of that noise. You alluded to the fact that maybe Jason and Richie's celebration was kind of to us.
I'm not sure what else it could be.
Yeah, it's hard to speculate what else it could be, because they're saying they're shutting out the noise. I mean, even Tavon was doing it too. So who really knows what the story is behind that? I mean, I'd love to get Jason on to pick his brain about it, but I doubt he's going to give some political answer. He's from Granite Chinos.
And I think it's probably remained to be seen. I mean, maybe people even know on Twitter right now, but there were a number of Cushing out banners in the supporter section.
At what point did those go down, though?
I think after we scored 2, they went down at half, and then somebody said that they came back up, which is, it's kind of funny, the relation between how that happened with Ronnie the first time we saw all the Ronnie out banners fly, and then what did we put, like 4 on somebody?
Yeah.
And it was like, at what goal did they come down? Yeah. But that, I think, was interesting, and I want to know if after the game, if players came over to the supporter section to talk, and if they got baited like they did with Ronnie, where they popped the sign up and then the players were telling them to put it down. I'm interested to see what the players' reaction were to Cushing out signs if they had to experience it one-on-one.
Well, I think if you looked at Talas's face after the game, he was probably thinking, give me that sign so I can hold it. I think some other players were probably thinking, I don't know, like, I think it really comes down to who has a secure place in the club and who doesn't. Like, I really do think that would be the split, because for Jason, for Richie, who knows he's not coming back, this is just a vibe season for him to kind of show that if he's worth it to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Tavon knows he's not going anywhere. He's a cheap defender that we're going to be able to keep for a long time. Like, of course those dudes are not going to really care that deeply about who the manager is and like wanting changes that fast. Whereas Talas is literally fighting for his life. Mm-hmm. Like, Talas is his season, this season and next season, literally define his career. Mm-hmm. And so for him to not play and to not play in a system that kind of favors him, of course he's going to be pissed off and probably want Cushing out.
Well, and we kind of saw it against Cincinnati too, like you just said, not playing a system that favors him. I think lately Talas' role has been coming in either at left wing or replacing Baki, but either way, every time Talas has come in, Baki has come off, and that has been the biggest head scratcher, because we have, since 2022, we have not seen Talas play with a proper striker on the field. And he is a player that thrives when he has that true striker, that true 9, and then the guys in the midfield to build off of.
Yeah, he needs people to play off of.
So. And he hasn't been afforded the opportunity to do that this season, not once.
Right.
Literally not one single time. And he's been forced at times to try to be fit into the striker position, which, like you said, is in a way fumbling him as a talent, and there probably is some animosity there from him, and you can't really blame him for that.
Right.
If he is understanding it the way that we are too.
Right. And I just think he deserves the chance to play with Baki, with Santi or Jason, and with Maxi. Like those 4, or interchange the other one, but those 4 up top, I see us stomping teams. Genuinely stomping teams, scoring a lot of goals and not having to hold our breath at the end of a 2-0 win. I just want to see Nick do that. I think that some of the combinations that we've been putting out there just haven't been working. I think if I was in the press conference tonight, I would probably ask Nick, is this a time where you're just going to go towards favoring the hot hand? Like, is this hot hand season where you just, whoever's performing, they're staying out there until they cannot go anymore, and then you make a change.
It feels like it because we saw Barraza drop from the lineup, which I guess you are putting the 3 Cincy goals on his head if you're going to do something like that, or
5
at least
consecutive non-clean sheets.
Yeah, that'll get a keeper out of the starting 11. But it's tough, the Cincy game, and in a way, I kind of talked about it in the 5-borough footy spaces, where it's tough to come out of that game. And even though it was a devastating loss at 3-0, and we were fighting at times, and unlucky, I think Baki had that. Was that the game where there was a number of chances that should have been put away?
Couple sitters too.
And there was one early tonight too against Montreal. But coming out of the Cincy game, there, in a way, it almost always feels like there's some kind of built-in excuse for Cushing when you do go into Cincinnati, who is on a historic point run at the moment.
Just got upset by Messi.
It's a wounded animal, although they played the 120 minutes and everything like that. Even in that game, Acosta, Brandon Vasquez, and the other guy. I can't even remember his name. Whoever the other guy is on their team, all were taken out like in the 70th, 80th minute against Messi, and then we saw, unfortunately, what happened to them. So they, in a way, when you spin the narrative that they played 120 minutes, and it was definitely emotionally draining for those players. But like, they're top players in the league, and they only played 70 minutes.
Right, exactly.
And we're talking about like Acosta, who is, if he is not Mukhtar, he is the step below him.
Top 5.
Yeah,
top 5.
Top 3 probably. And those guys, they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder after, honestly, some shit like that happens to them in their house.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they took it out. They took it out on us.
They allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, they everything was leaning towards them being the best versions of themselves on the night. Being back at home after Leagues Cup, trying to revenge what happened with Messi, being the team that they are for this season, just in general.
Literal historical point run at the moment.
Vasquez himself just being a dog, an animal for not only club but country too.
Oh, Bupenza? What's his name? Bupendeza? I don't know his name.
Brother.
Bupenza.
You said Bubin. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Bupenza. I'm pretty sure. He was the other one that was taken out, and is also like a dog. Like, you do not want to play against those 3 people at the same time. And they are, in a way, like you said, where if we had our perfect top 4 that you just mentioned, like, we would stomp people, that is them. And they're like actually actively stomping people, and they've done it all season.
Yeah, they don't have to live in maybe land.
Yeah. So it is a bit of a built-in excuse when you run into a buzzsaw like that.
Really, both the teams that we played off of Leagues Cup were buzzsaws, and kind of games that we were looking at on the schedule like, okay, these might be L's. Mm-hmm. We get a win tonight. I think we go another 5 in a row at home.
I think 4 more at home.
4 more at home?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't care who it is, we've got to win. Yeah. I think it is...
all 4?
Yeah.
Well, if we want playoffs, it's not negotiable.
But if we don't want major change next season, like, it's got to be 3 out of the 4.
In terms of, like, manager gone, players gone? Yeah.
I think there's going to be major turnover regardless.
Well, there's already some built in between Richie Loan over.
Right.
Perea gone, who has been a dark horse.
Yeah.
And honestly, we probably have to call out ourselves, and a lot of the community was very unhappy with the amount of money that was paid to him. And I can still kind of see being unhappy because, but it's a different kind of unhappy because now I'm mad that we paid that much and we're not going to retain him, and we don't have an option to.
Here's the thing though with that, he can go back and then we can have a new bid to buy him.
That's true.
Same with Richie.
That's true.
We could just do just because we don't, with the option to buy, they have to see us first. Mm-hmm. Without an option to buy, they can talk to everybody.
Yeah.
But nobody's gonna want those players.
Some people might want Perea.
Yeah. But Richie's gonna be a PSV bench player for the next season unless he gets loaned out again. I don't know if
PSV's gonna want him either. Honestly.
Well, I mean, like I said, he's going to have to contractually be on the bench or loaned out again. I could see him coming back again on a loan, though.
Yeah, because he is in the same situation as Tales, where these are like career-defining seasons for these players, and there should be some. But there should be some frustration there, because Ledesma too has not been given. I don't know what PSV agreed to terms-wise for him to come and get minutes. It would seem to me PSV is loaning him to be more active than he's been for us, but he has been more or less missing. This might have been his first start in a month or two, 2 months maybe.
He's definitely gotten the cold shoulder from Cushing. What do you think of the Thiago coming back does for the team, if anything? Probably nothing with Cushing, right?
Well, I was gonna say I think it. Oh, Thiago Andrade.
Yeah.
If he was to come back,
Well, he is going to come
or I
back.
guess he would come back. Yeah, I think he has an option to be bought, and I haven't really kept tabs on what he's doing.
He's doing the 007, but like 0010 at this point, 12, something like that.
I don't know. Personally, I probably wouldn't really want him back. I don't see Cushing wanting him back, especially if he hasn't really done anything in Brazil. I don't know. I don't see him coming back and adding anything if he wasn't prior. And he is just we're gonna be back in that Tales and Thiago. Hopefully they're gonna sharpen each other as diamonds.
I just had like a crazy like you can't even say it. I'm gonna say it, but like I just can't believe that this thought came to my mind about human beings. But like I just thought, I got such a hard job. What bag of shit am I gonna pick today on the wing? Like,
yeah,
what guy with 2 goals this season am I gonna pick on?
That's
the wing?
what I'm saying. We're
Boo-hoo.
and we're gonna
Cushing.
be in the position again where we're on here like, oh, this is great. There's competition at the left wing. Like they're gonna form each other into diamonds.
What flaming bag of shit
Yeah.
is gonna make this other flaming?
And then
bag
it's
better?
and then it's match day 27, and Cushing is still rolling out experimental lineups as we're begging for a playoff appearance, like begging for one.
Yeah.
Which is the state of this club.
Yeah.
At the moment.
At the moment, it's just hard. I seeing because today I was doing a little bit of research for a little project for a little thing that we're doing, and I had seen a lot of old videos. Specifically, I watched our podcast right before we played in the Eastern Conference Final before that season that we won.
Mm-hmm. The COVID
MLS
game?
Cup. No, MLS Cup year.
Yeah, COVID game in Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, that was
It was Portland.
Before
not Portland. It was Philly COVID game.
Yeah, Andre Blake, scumbag.
And just seeing the joy in our faces. And I also saw the one where the Ronnie out signs were out there. And
Well, we got to dance on graves with that whole thing.
Afterwards, yeah.
With the whole Ronnie out thing.
But at this moment that I was speaking about, is we were kind of talking about there's Ronnie out, like what side should we be on? If we make the playoffs, what can we do? And I just flat out said I think we can win a cup if we make it to the playoffs. And this young boy had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Throwing darts, but he threw a dart that day that landed.
I do have to say I think we are far less likely that dart is gonna even hit the wall behind the dartboard. Like it might go into the parking lot and kill somebody. I'm a bit more pessimistic than I've been in the past about the playoffs and what we can even do if we get into the playoffs. I think best case, we probably seed in at the 9 or 8 spot, and we have a game against Miami.
I think,
and that buzzsaw saws us.
I think
every way it saws us.
That there's so many teams. Like if you think about that season, there was really the Revs, which we handled, and
but the person
LAFC or Portland that were like really really good all season, consistently good, and were making the places. Like that was really it. This season, there's so many good teams that are just look good, like are playing proper football and look like they're together proper teams that I'm excited for the playoffs even if we don't make it, just because there's going to be such a good product out there.
Yeah. Well, and our personnel is way different than what it was.
Not only that, but like the thing about our team is if we were winning games and a couple people were performing a little bit better with goals and assists, like they would look at our team the way that they look at Nashville, or like pick a player on the field like that's such a good player. Look at Cincy. You pick a player on the field that's such a good player. Miami, how they've turned around and all look like great players now. You would look at our team and be like, how do they possibly have all of those players on the field?
Yeah.
But we just aren't getting the results. We aren't performing the way that these players should be.
And tonight is out of the norm. We have Baki score one, and Jason score a Gabby Pereira goal. I mean, that's literally what it was.
Gabby came and possessed this man.
And it reminded me, too, of the Thiago goal against DC that Barraza assisted.
Where he fell.
That cutback, left-footed shot, fall on the ground. I mean, and I'm happy for Jason, too, because I think early on in the game, I think I said you would have thought Jason wasn't visible out there, not because of what he was doing, but because of the way that other players were not looking at him and not getting him the ball. And it became very apparent early to me, the runs that he was making and the fire that we always talk about him and other homegrowns bringing when they finally get a chance to do so. you knew something was coming from him.
Right.
And so a very well-deserved star of the match. I think he's probably unlucky not to get another goal or at least an assist out there. But once
Should
they
have the Baki assist.
Yeah, once they started getting that ball to Jason, it literally was like we had GP again. Genuinely.
Better. No,
yeah.
Way better. Because GP never had a right foot to cross like that.
And I don't know what to make of Baki, because now I think it's a couple games. So we had Minnesota, Cincy, and now this game, although he gets the goal and honestly in pretty amazing fashion. I think the assist was from Burke on one of those long balls up the field, but that's one goal out of many
that should have been goals.
Chances.
Think about how much, I guess, room we gave to Tati in those same situations. So where Tati was leaving a game with like 20 shots and having a goal.
Yeah.
So
I think he would like.
It doesn't look as good.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Baki's at Tati's level yet. That clearly not. But when you're getting and you're able to get a number 9 that many chances, they're gonna start falling. He's gonna start being in good form. He truly is somebody that you have to give time.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even brought in to be the main number 9. That's the narrative was never that.
Yeah, he was the insurance 9, and
right.
We were gonna get whatever that guy's name was that went to, I don't remember where he went, Porto or something.
Yeah.
For like $6 million.
Friggin'.
Yeah, friggin'. Yeah.
But like even the commentators for the games are like, yeah, but they still need a 9.
Yeah.
While he's on the field.
Yeah.
And so we can't go from this guy's just a backup insurance 9 to he needs to be scoring every single goal. In the moment and during the games, I feel like that, and I will scream and curse at him. But after I actually think about it, it's like we gave Tati so much room to grow and to become the player that he was. We need to do the same with Baki.
I mean, every new player is going to need a little time too. I think, was it Minnesota when he had that awful missed chance on his debut, and we talked about that. No, or
MLS debut.
I should have mentioned who I was talking about. Julian.
Oh.
I was like, well, I'm talking about the new guys, and in my brain I said Julian. I just forgot to say it out loud.
Yeah, that was
which is not helpful for a podcast. But Julian had that awful missed chance against Minnesota, and I think aside from that, he has looked like a very dangerous player.
Yeah.
And like somebody who would most likely be a big contributor in 2024. I'm interested to see more from Alonso. We've seen, what was it? I think maybe 5 minutes against Cincy.
Yeah, very little.
And not enough to make any kind of...
well, down 3-0 as well.
Yeah. Not enough time to make any assumptions or takeaways from that. But I think with all these guys, we have to give them the time to grow and just to feel comfortable, honestly.
Right.
I mean, how uncomfortable must it be in the first place to come into a team that is in its worst form in club history? Like, genuinely.
Kind of feeling the weight of that on your shoulders, too, when you're brand new.
Mm-hmm. And the supporters are expecting that. Baki literally came in as like, he is going to win us the league, basically.
Like, Hebert gave him the juice.
He's like $1 million player. I mean,
yeah. But Julian, he looks like much more valuable than a $5 million player.
Mm-hmm.
I think his decision-making is young, but I think having Maxi around, hopefully he doesn't listen to Maxi too much, but listen to Maxi, and he's a physical specimen. He's going to turn into a good player. It's just whether or not it's going to be sooner rather than later, I think, for him. It's a when, not if.
Right. And the same with Burke, too. He's probably been out of all the new guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
he looks just proper. Like, he slots in. He looks like an NYCFC player.
He's Collins. Like, he's not quite
he's not as good as defending.
And I mean, I would say attacking, too. And that is just simply based off Collins being a specimen. But he, to me, has that archetype. Once he gets a little more confidence, and probably once our attackers start making his balls turning into things that are better, then it will be easier to draw that comparison. Baki did that tonight off his pass, but these balls, even up to Jason tonight, switching the whole play, it's something that we did not have on the team, and it's something that we desperately need, and he's been good. And he has a leadership factor to him. You don't see it?
I mean, I don't. What am I supposed to be saying?
I see him having the type of fight that the homegrowns have, but not just internally. I think in a lot of the press that we see go out, like, he's actually talking in our huddles and, killing people on defense and stuff, letting them know what to do. I've seen it a few times, and I like that from a guy like that. He's coming from a very competitive league. I think he played Europa League too.
Right.
So hopefully he can raise that
I think that's
standard.
what it is. I think if anything, he's trying to show some of his experience and give his insight. To me, he looks like a robot that is going to do his job at any means necessary and put in a solid performance every single game. I just think he's that type of player. In terms of in the games, I don't really see much leadership, but I do understand now what you're talking about with like training, and I do see him kind of encouraging other players and things like that. So I do kind of see what you mean there.
And what's your thoughts with the captaincy now that Chanot is gone? I don't think we have an outright guy that makes sense.
I think it's Sands when he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
For now, it's going to be Thiago, but I think I don't know, our midfield has some questions too. With Morales, I thought his performance coming in, it just looked, I don't know, there's just something about watching him play. It's just like champagne. He just looks so good.
I kind of expected him to get the armband tonight.
Yeah. I think at some point you got to give Keaton a rest. And Pereira, I think he's an engine that's going to never stop running. So I would like to see Pereira and Morales, or Morales and Sands, or some variation. But
could you get away with Pereira and Sands?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And just cut Pereira loose to stop
kind of
worrying about defending the way that he does.
Right.
Could be.
Well, even both
crazy.
Of them being busy bees while you have Cincinnati was essentially a 3-4-3. That's what it really broke down to.
Yeah.
Where you had Gouffre playing all over the place.
Who's been great.
Yeah. But if you have that same situation and your two midfielders somewhat staying back and Pereira being the busy bee that he is, I could absolutely see that working.
There's a lot of fun ways to place the personnel that we have on the field, and we're gonna have to keep getting it right. We're gonna have to keep looking like we did against Montreal, and
we got a game Saturday, which is a must-win. I think every game going forward is a must-win, but this one, genuinely, if we could put two together, back-to-back 2 wins, I think that's going to give the team enough morale to at least fight, to at least crawl to the end.
And Vancouver on a Saturday on 3:30, and I think that was one that we wanted to go to, but I'm not sure that we even have the ability to do that anymore.
No, we don't, because we're going to be
not in the right frame of mind.
Not in great shape.
And then, regrettably, to inform you, I have a wedding that I have to go to for the Derby.
No, we were going to go.
Yeah. Well, we were months ago saying we were hitting back-to-back Vancouver and then Derby. And then
might have to solo that, brother.
The worst part about all of it is the only games that we have left are Orlando on a midweek, which is going to be tough for us. And then I believe our Toronto and our Chicago are both RBA.
Yeah,
so
that was like the last chance.
I don't know.
How important is this wedding?
I mean,
yeah, that's a flu game.
I'm not getting out of it. I mean, I'm in the flu game right now with this. I have a splinter in my hand, and that is a byproduct, I think, of some massive production changes that we've been hinting at for months. I mean, it's been months.
Honestly, every single other time that we talked about what's coming up and what we're cooking, things were really sitting at like a solid 0% of progress.
Yeah.
We can.
We can
say like we're at 99% right now.
Yeah.
Like it's 99% complete.
The next episode
will be an announcement, really.
Yeah. And I don't know how much to leak. I mean, we've already talked. I'm pretty sure we've blatantly said it word for word out loud.
We're recording Sunday.
Yeah. So after Vancouver, that'll be a good one to tune into if you usually just listen on Apple or Spotify or
see our faces.
Whatever platform it is. Stop over by YouTube.
Yeah, I think we've recorded in a lot of places. There's been a lot of different versions of what you see. If
on
you
scene,
are
remote,
if you're a more visual watcher than you are just audio only, you've seen that we've been in a million places. But I hope at least the one thing that hasn't changed is our love for this club, and it never will.
Yeah.
So
I got sappy.
Huh?
You got a little sappy there at the end.
It is what it is. But yeah, I'm excited for this. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, and I mean that I'll probably do it for 112.
Yeah, and you gotta.
And shout out everybody that tuned in. I guess the last episode, even just in terms of audio only. I know we took a little bit of an unannounced break for like a month, but then we came back, and the support just in terms of like watches and listens were on par and better than our episodes of the past. I also felt like it was a pretty good episode that we put together. Maybe one of the better ones that we did. So it's always great to see how that goes, and we appreciate the support and stuff. Because really, if we weren't on here talking about it, we would either be screaming at the TV, which we do anyways, texting each other, which we do. And none of those things fulfill
what this does
in terms of getting things off our chest and sharing our thoughts on the club and sharing the back and forth with everybody too.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Because if we weren't doing this, we would be on the couch with the lights off, just talking until it makes sense.
Yeah, and it might not. It doesn't even make sense now. It's hard to make sense of some of these things that happen in soccer, but
yeah.
What
a dark ending.
Vancouver next.
Vancouver.
Red Bulls, Orlando,
we
Toronto.
Continue to stomp these Canadians. I'll share this stupid little story. It's fast, I promise. I told a coworker he's interested in sports but never was really a soccer fan. And I said, if you do anything, just become an NYCFC supporter. Get down to a game. You already like the Yankees. You're gonna fit in. And so he's loosely followed, and he came up to me yesterday and he said, hey, it looks like we're on a collision course. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because it was out of the blue. And he goes, well, it seems like we're going to get down to the wire and Messi's going to take the playoffs from us. And I said, have you been doing research?
I was going to say, that is a very,
I'm like,
for a month-long fan, that is
I'm like, how deep did you go? He's like, well, I watched all the games from the past this last season. And yes, he goes, it seems like we're going to win all of our games until we get to Miami. I'm like, wow.
Well, that's
from
a little...
your mouth to God.
I was going to say, I guess I was foreshadowing earlier then when I said our best case scenario is 8th or 9th into the play-in game, and then it comes down to us versus Messi to see if this season was worth anything.
And it
looks bleak at the moment.
It does. But anyways, that was 112.
That was 112.
Tune in next week. It will hopefully
It'll be a good episode.
It's going to be a good episode.
Yeah.
Probably our best.
Yeah.
And so...
In terms of production and set and everything, it's up there. I'm happy with it. Anyways, well...
We'll see you guys.
Catch you 113.
Peace.
Peace.